Hey guys, it's me, Holly Madison. Welcome back to my channel. I just got a spray tan, so that's why I'm looking the way I'm looking. Today, I'm continuing my reaction series to Girls Next Door. This is season 3, episode 12, Dangerous Curves. It's all about cars. So if you hit the like and subscribe, I'd really appreciate it. And let's get started with the episode. So this episode is another one of what they call like the Frankenstein episodes, which the last episode was too, meaning we're doing 3 separate things, but they're tied together with one theme. Although this one isn't as disjointed feeling as the other ones because we do all come together in the end to cheer Kendra on when she's doing her race car thing. So it has more of a vibe than the other Frankenstein episodes, but still. And one thing I've noticed that they finally got better at, we're almost at the end of season 3, but they finally figured it out. When they start with a shot of the exterior of the mansion, they would zoom in on a window and then they would cut to what was supposed to be inside the window, but it would always be the wrong room. Like you would see the windows to my room and they'd cut to Kendra, or the windows to Kendra's room and they'd cut to Bridget. But now like you can hear like the fake hip hop music playing. So I know we're gonna see Kendra first and they're zooming in on her window. So they're finally getting it right 3 seasons in. So Hef is telling Kendra that she's been invited to be like a celebrity race car driver for, I think it was the Long Beach Grand Prix. And we're all gonna go watch her do that at the end of the episode. George Lucas was another driver too. And it's just so funny. Like I love Star Wars and it's funny how much Star Wars like comes up in this show. I love it. So I'm talking about how I'm telling Mary in her office about how I'm going to go lease a Prius because this was when I was working at the Playboy studio and I just wanted a car, not that I was being hounded by the paparazzi or anything, but I just wanted a car that was like low key, that nobody would notice, that was small and would fit into like parking spots because parking in LA is kind of a nightmare and it was even worse back then. And the parking spots were all tiny. And even like parking at the studio or parking at the Starbucks on the way, trying to get a coffee on the way to work was really hard in an SUV. So I was selling my SUV and leasing this car. And I also wanted to lease a car to like help improve my credit because I really didn't have any credit. And I kind of ruined my credit in college a little bit, but I was building it back up. So I was leasing the car and paying for it myself, which kind of the deal when you lived at the mansion was like Hef would lease a car for you. But I was told I couldn't build my credit. Like he could have just given me the money and I could have paid for it and build my credit, but he didn't do that for some reason. So whatevs. Not trying to sound like greedy, but like everybody else was getting their car paid for. I was talking about like pimping out the Prius, but I don't think I ever really intended to do that specifically because it was a lease. I was just going to turn it back in. I think I was just trying to like make it a little more interesting for the show. But I didn't do that. I just kept it playing because my whole point was kind of to get a low-key car. Like I just wanted to like drive to work in peace. Everybody thought this was an ad and that Toyota sponsored the episode. They didn't, by the way. It was just, this is the content we gave them to follow. And then Bridget's part of the storyline is she was going to go pick up the custom rims that she ordered for her Porsche. And if you remember all the way back to the middle of season 2, that was when she ordered the custom rims. And I do not think they took that long to make. That would have been like a whole year. So I think this was probably footage that was old by the time they spliced it into this. Like they just banked the footage. I need to brush my mane. You guys, we're back with George Barris. We've talked about him before in like the last Halloween episode. And he calls himself the Custom Car King, but it's all spelled with K's. And someone pointed out in the comment section, they're like, not George Barris, not realizing what his initials are. Oh. Okay, so in Bridget's confessional interview, she's wearing the Playboy golf outfit. And I was just thinking, I wish I still had my Playboy golf outfit. I don't know where half of my stuff is, guys. I've told this story before, but the only thing I can think about when I think of George Barris is when he showed up to the mansion Halloween party dressed as Robin from Batman and Robin in a spandex onesie, and you could see the outline of his dick. And I just didn't need to see that. But you know what? Equality for all. I was running around half naked, so God bless George Barris. So Bridget's doing a photo shoot for a magazine, like Luxie magazine, that did her rims. And the cover of it's really cute. She's in a bunny costume and it's like one of my favorite pictures of her. It's super cute. And they're doing the photo shoot in a really awkward place. It's like right outside of George's place in like this little grass patch next to the building that's like right on a busy street. It's really weird. I give Kendra props for doing this because I think I'm too vain to try to like race a car where I might crash. I'd be scared. When I'm driving with Allison Waite to go get the Prius, it's one of my favorite convos that's like cut wrong, because I'm like, you know what sucks about living at the mansion in general is that every day's a special occasion. It's like someone's birthday or a party or blah, blah, blah. So it sounds like I'm just complaining about that. But in full context, what I was talking about was trying to stick to a diet was hard at the mansion because every day was a special occasion. It's either somebody's birthday or it's like a weekend buffet and they have really amazing gourmet desserts out, or it's like a premiere and they have all these treats. It's like you're always surrounded by like temptation. But it's funny the way they cut it because it makes it just sound like I'm bitching about good stuff. So chunky big bags were really in. Allison and I are both carrying just like giant purses, Mary Poppins bags. This show in general is just such a time capsule, and it's funny to show me like test driving the Prius, and because it's like a hybrid, we're talking about how quiet it is and like all the things that are different about electric cars that are just like commonplace now. But back then it was like, oh, it's so quiet. I'm just laughing. I'm like explaining how a hybrid car works and what it feels like. It's like, it's just such a time capsule. And it's so dumb because I say, I just want another car that fits in the Starbucks parking lot, which is so true. Because every day I would drive to work at the studio and I would stop at Starbucks on the way, because this was before Postmates and I didn't have like an assistant at the studio or anybody to go get it for me. So I'd get my coffee and my lunch on the way to work. And the Starbucks there were like 2 Starbucks in between the mansion and the Santa Monica studio at the time. And one was like impossible to get to, like there was no parking. And the one I would stop at most of the time was in Santa Monica, really close to the studio. It was in a strip mall, but still like the parking was always jammed and the spaces were tiny. And it was always like a struggle to fit my SUV in there. And I'd like wedge it in somewhere and then I barely could be able to open my door and I'd have to squeeze out. So it became like, as dumb as it sounds, like it became like a real issue. Like for my practical life purposes, I needed a smaller car. And so I'm in there telling the guy, I'm like, I'm just looking for another car that'll fit into the Starbucks parking lot. And then it cuts to them looking blank and it goes a dun-dun-dun. Like I just made a really bad joke. And I wasn't trying to be funny or make a joke. Like it was true. It was like a practical thing. I think it was just like the producer like sticking it to me like, you're so not funny. And it's like, I wasn't trying to be. Another major repetitive trope in this show was Kendra flashing. Like for some reason that became her thing, even though everybody kind of did it. And it was something she was like prompted to repeat over and over because the producer just loved repeating these tropes. Like Kendra flashing, Bridget with food, Kendra trying food that she doesn't know what it is, me bugging Hef about marriage and kids. Like these were all tropes that got like repeated to death on the show, and it was kind of annoying. It's kind of annoying when you're like the one who has to live with it after and everybody thinks that's like your dominant personality trait. So I'm talking about pimping out the car, and the stuff they show is like stuff that I probably wouldn't have done. I think the whole talk of pimping out the car was just me trying to provide some kind of content for the show or make this a little more interesting. I kind of wish I still had the Ed Hardy cashmere sweater that I'm wearing in this scene. Like I know everybody bags on Ed Hardy, but I really like this sweater. It had like 2 wolves on it. It was really cute. So Kendra's in Mary's office talking to Mary, and I'm looking at how she has like this wall of DVDs in her office. And it reminded me how like when Girls Next Door DVDs would come out every season, one would think that as the stars of the show, we would each be given like a little box of DVDs like to have or to give to friends and family. Oh no, we weren't given one DVD. The only reason I even have any DVDs is because Mary would like slip me one each season. Because of course Hef got a big old slew of them, but like we weren't given any. Oh my God, and then there's this funny scene where Crystal Camden walks in and she's wearing a zip up hoodie like this. And she puts this Playboy logo pillow right here and she's walking around with it so it looks like it's her head, and it's really funny. Sometimes I see people, not Crystal Camden, but sometimes I see people on this show and I like want to give the drama backstory about like what happened and where they went, but they're really like private people, and like I don't know where they're at these days, so I don't want to like spill any dirt, but I get those moments all the time. Because let me tell you, there were some scandals. Oh my God, Crystal, even just in her hood and sunglasses, she's so funny. I really wish I still had the shirt. This is another thing. I keep seeing all this stuff that I thought I saved and I can't find. And I have this blue like racing shirt. And I don't know where it went because I really love my whole outfit in this scene. I have like these cute like white Frankie B shorts and like my hair looks cute and my sunglasses. I know I still have the sunglasses somewhere, or at least I think I do. I used to think race car driver suits were so cute because remember a long time ago when Britney Spears had a Pepsi one? I just thought it was the coolest thing I'd ever seen. And like years later for some event, somebody made me one. Like when I was doing Peep Show and Holly's World and it was pink. I still have it, it's super cute. Okay, the continuity is sucking. Either the continuity is sucking or I changed because it shows me in the one outfit with the shorts and the blue shirt. And now all of a sudden I'm in a white dress and a bomber jacket. I love all my outfits in this episode and I wish I still had them. And I love my hair in a ponytail. This video might be a little short today because I have a dinner date and I need to run for it real quick. But oh my gosh, Kendra has this interview in the game room and there's a Charlie Chaplin statue behind her that I never noticed before. I mean, I noticed it in real life, but like not in this shot, and it was so creepy. I just looked back up and it was like the first thing I saw. Ugh. How have I never noticed that in her interviews before? It's so weird. I don't know what I'm gonna wear to dinner because I wanna look cute. I guess I could wear this. It's like slob kebab in my sweats. I'll just put on like some cuter shoes maybe. But you know when you get a spray tan, you just wanna wear like black casual clothes so your tan's not getting everywhere. So Hef was the Grand Marshal of the parade for the Long Beach Grand Prix that Kendra's driving in. So that was fun to be able to like ride around in the car with him. It's always fun to be in a parade. I remember in real life, we took a helicopter down to Long Beach and then we did the parade ride. And I remember we were all like hung over and gross that day. And I think that's probably why Crystal walked in with like the rabbit head over her face and like the sunglasses and stuff. And I remember when we were interviewed about this day, Michael, one of the producers, was like, okay, so you guys came up with a word for how you felt that day. Tell us what it was. And I was like, drag-tastical, because we were like dragging that day. So one of us said, you know, we felt, between Bridget or I, we said we felt drag-tastical, like dragging ourselves out of bed and getting ready to go that day, because I guess we were hungover or something. And I think this was filmed like not long after Hef's birthday. Like either we had just got back from Vegas, which we saw like 3 episodes ago, and we're feeling like hungover and not ready, or I'm trying to think, did he have a birthday party at the house in addition to celebrating his birthday in Vegas? Because we wouldn't have been hungover from Casablanca night, that's for sure. But anyway, something we did the night before this, we were like hungover, and I think it was like Hef's birthday, because this was like April 15th, April 16th, and his birthday's the 9th. So if that was like the closest weekend, that's when it would have been celebrated. So Kendra gets in a crash and she was fine and everything. It wasn't like a bad crash, but it was just enough to be dramatic for the episode. Louie, hi. Did you guys hear Louie making noise? Oh my God, one of the tires on Kendra's car looks crazy. It's like crunched up. Oh, they're showing another shot of Kendra's interview in the game room, and the Charlie Chaplin thing isn't usually in there. That's probably why I never noticed it before, but it's so creepy. Oh my God, and then I guess George Lucas crashed too, and they show that crash, and that crash looks scary. Okay, so best and worst of that episode. I think the best, just for me, I mean, it was a good episode, but I think for me, I really enjoyed seeing like the outfits and the hairstyles and just like things that I enjoyed and things that I like, and everybody looked really good. Like I like the whole visual of this episode. Everybody looked really pretty. There wasn't really anything bad about the episode. Like I felt like we were all getting along at this point, like no pun intended because it's a car episode, but we were all very happy in our own lanes. You know what I mean? Like there wasn't any like weird competition or anybody like snarking at each other behind the scenes. We were all just like each happy with what we were doing and supportive of one another. So this episode is pretty mild. I'm sorry if this reaction video is a little bit boring or lacking tea, but yeah, this episode's pretty mild. Like, it was a good episode. I don't really have any complaints about it, but it wasn't like the most exciting favorite one either. So next week we will do the Renaissance Fair medieval episode. So join me back then. Bye.